Hey, and we live, we live, we live, we live. Hey, and we live, we live. Today we out here in the studio. Okay, you gotta listen to some of this music, some good music. So, you don't have to turn it yet. So you turn it around. Not yet. But I want you to introduce you to my cousin right here. And like I always say, I don't like to really introduce the person only because I want the person to be able to say their name and be proud about it. So you go ahead and tell me your name.
My name is Joshua Arnoux.
Okay. So this is Joshua. This is my cousin. I'm talking about we used to stay in the same house, probably slept in the same bed, foot to toe and everything, you know, taking each other food and all that good stuff at a young age. And we're in his studio. And the music that you hear in the background is some of the music that he's produced. So so we're gonna talk more about him and just get to know him. And so what are you doing right now, like in life, like career wise?
Right now, I still have a 9 to 5.
Okay.
So I may have a studio, but I'm not free just yet.
Yes.
But I work for a cell phone company. I've been doing it for about 11 years. I work for Sprint.
Okay.
So no boost Sprint. But I've been working with them for 11 years. What they call an account executive.
Yeah.
So it sounds fancy, but it's just a glorified way of saying sales rep. But I like it, man. I like dealing with people, so that's what I'm doing now.
Okay. So dealing with people, I know it can be a struggle sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, how do you keep some of that patience? I guess we would say. Or learn some patience, because I know some people need to learn about patience.
Honestly, I really would say that I like dealing with people in general.
Okay.
Like even my wife, she's the same way. So the patience part, you know, you do have to learn it in different, you know, areas. Because when you do sales, people just do all types of crazy stuff, and you have to learn how to cool it.
Yeah.
So you can make the sale.
Yeah.
So
well, I know that got to be tough, you know, sometimes, because I know some people can be underhanded and they'll do some things that, you know, and you're just like, but let's talk more. Okay, so we spoke about what you're doing in the sense of your 9 to 5, and I know the 9 to 5 for you is not really your love or your passion, and I always like to talk to people about what they love to do or what they're doing in their community. So so what kind of music are you producing?
well, primarily it's gospel music.
Okay.
So gospel music, inspirational. I have dabbled a little bit in some R&B stuff. I have an artist I was working with. He was doing some covers like Justin Bieber, The Weeknd.
Okay.
You know, some other people, and we just recreated the music, and he sang over it and did that. But primarily, the music that I work on is gospel.
Okay. So what got you to going to getting into music? Like what happened with that?
Well, honestly, it's always been there. I mean, growing up, my whole family on my mother's side,
Yes.
everybody was a musician. So my uncle played the drums, guitar. My other uncle played the piano, drums, and guitar. The other one played every instrument. My mother used to play the piano. So music was just all over the house. We had a piano in the living room, an organ in the garage, a drum set in the garage. So we've always just had instruments around. So I mean, that's just how we grew up.
So basically, you was exposed to that, basically, in a sense. I know you got your brother and your sisters. Have any of them, like, do they do any music? Or you just stole it all? You just take it all?
I mean, music for me, everybody knows that's my love in the family.
Yes.
But my brother, Ben,
Mm-hmm.
he played guitar for a little bit and played piano and drums.
Okay.
But that's not his love. You know, he did it because it was there. Tammy, she sings a little bit. Nene, she can hold a note, but that's not her thing. That's not her thing. No offense.
No, I understand. Okay, so let's take it back, right? And I always want to take it back, and I say let's go back to school, because it's like it's you growing up to get to who you are, right? Yeah. So you got to kind of sometimes tell your story, and I feel like talking about your years as in middle school, like education-wise, and even friends, and how you kind of found yourself, or if it took you a while to find yourself.
To be honest, I would say that finding myself as a man took a long time.
Yeah, man.
I probably didn't find that till like 10 years ago. But as far as when in middle school, when it came to music, I've always known I wanted to be a musician. So with all the instruments that we had in the house, that was important. But then also I had a lot of good music teachers. I went to a school called PS 176 in Cambria Heights.
Okay.
So we had a teacher named Mr. Stoller in there. I went to IS 59, and we had a music teacher there, Miss DeBerry and Mr. Hammond. And in high school, I had a teacher named a couple of music teachers because I went there for music.
Yeah.
But one music teacher in particular, his name is Ramon Reberg. Now that guy took me to the next level because he didn't take nothing from you. If you were going to be great at what you were going to do, he was gonna push you at it.
Yeah.
But from grade school, I mean, I knew from back then that this is what I wanted to do. I always wanted to be a songwriter, musician. Always wanted to own my own record label, to produce music.
Yeah.
I mean, that was from grade school. Yeah.
From grade school. Okay. So let's talk about more so your grades though in middle school. How were those? Like, you know, and I like to speak about these things because, you know, we're of the age where we got kids. And we gotta lead by example, but also be real about how we came up.
Yeah.
You know, so how was it for you? Like, was it hard, easy, bad, good grades?
I was not good academically. I mean, when it came to creative stuff, music, even sports, I could do that with no problem. The problem really was the academics. So in grade school, like elementary, I did all right. I wasn't terrible. When I hit junior high school is when it really got rough. That's when I really was like, oh man, I don't know this math stuff, you know.
Yeah.
You know.
So how did you get over or get past those hard times, or what did you do?
Jesus. Honestly, man, I really can't put my finger on it. Like, there wasn't one specific thing. Like, I didn't have tutoring.
Okay.
You know, my mother, she was working real hard. You know, your uncle, my dad, you know,
yes.
he was working real hard. So it wasn't a lot of time in the home to do a lot of tutoring, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I stuck it out as best I could. So I wasn't a bad student to the point where I got left back.
Mm-hmm.
I just made it, you know. Up till junior high school, to high school, I just made it.
So we go to high school. Well, let's talk a little bit more about middle school. Like just talking more so about dealing with kids, like your peers. Like, how was that for you? Were you like,
I was a herb.
You was a herb. So how was that like for you? Like growing up like that, so you was being bullied or?
When I hit junior high school is when I was being bullied.
Okay.
When I was in elementary, I wasn't being bullied. Because there were times I would have to, you know, fights for Tammy.
Okay.
You know, so, and it wasn't against the girl, of course. You know, going to be her big brother. But when I got to junior high school, the school I went to at the time was very violent.
Okay.
IS 59, if anybody knows anything about IS 59, that school was hard knock back then.
Okay.
So, you know, you had gangs like the Smurfs. You know, we didn't hear about the Bloods and the Crips around that time.
Yeah.
You had these made-up names of little schools. Little gangs in the school.
Yeah.
But I was a herb in junior high. Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, okay, so then, like, what was like a regular day for you in junior high, being that you said you was a herb?
I didn't get bullied every day, but someone could say something to me, and
yeah,
I just have to eat that.
Okay.
Because I'm like, I don't use the hands, so you know, if I was to fight, I'd have to figure that out at that moment. So it wasn't, you know, I wasn't getting bullied every day, but there were a couple of moments. One story, this one kid, I'm not gonna say his name. I don't know who he is now, but I was walking through the hallway, and he said, "Hey, what's up?" Boom! Right in my chest. You know, gasping for air.
That's serious when you hit them in the right spot too.
Yeah, so you know, that kind of stuff happened.
So how did you? But like, the reason why I want to know more about it is because I want to know like how you got through your days, because there are people that are like herbs or being bullied, and like what was something to get you through that?
Honestly, I would say it would be the music. Because when I went to the music class in junior high school, there was no bullies there. There was nobody trying to outdo you. It was like a team. Everybody was excited. Because in junior high school, I also started to really branch out and sing. Where I was we had a little male singing group, you know, one of my best friends at the time. So that's what really got me through. And then going back to my neighborhood, you know, we were all cool there.
Yeah.
So I had places where I felt safe.
Okay.
But when I went to school, there was moments where I was like, well, who knows what's going to happen today? Because my brother me and Ben were in the same school for 1 year. I got to 6, he was in the 8th. After that, he was out.
Yeah.
So that was about it. Yeah.
It's a little difficult.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk a little bit more about high school years. Being that, because I know in middle school it was a little rough with, you know, with people, like you said, maybe picking on you, but you still got through because of the music. So I know you said in high school that's when you was more so bullied, and you had and you still had music.
Yeah.
So that was like your safe haven in a sense.
Yeah, well, junior high school was the bullying. High school was a whole different world for me. Like, there was no bullying in high school.
Okay.
Because by the time I got to high school, it was new faces. No one knew who you were.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in junior high school, they kind of know you, so they're like, oh, I know who he is.
Yeah.
When I got to junior high school, it was a different world. So I went to LaGuardia.
Okay.
So they, you know, that was called the Fame School at one time, but it was the greatest experience of my life musically.
Okay. Why was that though?
You actually dealt with teachers that were doing not just a teaching profession, but a music profession. So you had some people that were doing the Philharmonic. You had people that were across the street at Juilliard.
Yeah.
You had people that were writing scores of music and performing it. We had acting teachers that were in movies at the time, teaching
good,
you know, classes. We had seminars coming from Tony Bennett, R. Kelly. You know, Alicia Keys was just coming up at that time. Like, there's so many people that I know that are famous now that I went to school with. And that one I'm going to name, Nicki Minaj. Me and her went to school together.
Oh, okay. That had to be cool though, because I know they did say she went to like
She went to LaGuardia.
Yeah, for that. So yeah, that was cool. So, but how was that like seeing her at a young age? Was she just like somebody regular? No.
She was always into rapping.
Okay.
Yeah, Nicki. Well, yeah, she was all into rapping at that time. A lot has changed since then. You know, she's evolved. She's gotten much better at her craft.
Yeah.
But you know, she was pretty back then. She was cool. We were friends.
Yeah,
we weren't like best friends. We didn't talk and hang out and stuff. But we knew each other.
Well, that's cool.
But it was cool.
So, but I think that's cool though too, because like I always say, like we want to see people that are in the same or the same of us, like in culture wise, because it kind of gives you that idea or that mental that I can do it.
Yeah,
that I can do this, I can do that, but I have to just figure out how it's gonna work for me so that I can do it.
Yeah.
Being that it was like a great experience, where did you like, was there something in there that like, what's something you really learned that you still go by today from high school?
It really is gonna be the work ethic.
Okay.
You know, because you're in school, you know you have to work for your grades, right?
Yeah.
But in a music school like a LaGuardia, there were kids that were coming in from other countries to come to that school.
Yeah.
Like, they're from China and they only came to the United States to go to that school.
Yeah.
So it, you know, when I say it was the greatest musical experience of my life, it really was. So the teachers were really hard on you, but you know, we learned so much that most of us ended up being in the profession that we went to school for.
Okay.
Which
So
is
it was
huge.
like, it was a good like space where you can be like competitive or learn more from, because there's so many different cultures and so many different people, and that is good though, because you sometimes people are really just stuck into their world and like, okay, I'm from here, Cambridge Heights, and that's it. I only know this. You know, like I don't know anything else. But those cultures that come in, it does kind of help you, even on your music, don't you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because I wasn't really into church music then, because I wasn't a Christian at the time.
Yes.
So I went in there.
Sorry about that. Keep going.
I went in there, you know, doing R&B and you know stuff like that. So going into that, the guy I mentioned earlier, Ramon Reberg, you know, he's a Christian. He was teaching the gospel choir.
Yeah.
So when I got involved in that, the singing was a different level because I was a singer.
Yeah.
That's why I went there for vocal, and he just took your singing to the next level. Like, there was no question about it. The man took your singing to another level.
So it kind of helped your confidence in a sense.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Because when I went in there, he interviewed me to get into the school, my audition, and he said, "You got a good voice, but you know, when you come here," and I was like, "You mean I'm coming? I got in?" He's like, "You know," so he was like, "When you get here, you know, we're really gonna work you." And he worked out being nervous, learning how to project your voice, how to, you know, they call something diction, which is pronouncing your words. You know, I learned all type of classical terms, musical terms. I mean, it was just amazing, man.
Yeah, I like music because I feel like, and I always say it's like really emotional, and it kind of can put you in good spaces, bad spaces, but it really plays on how you are feeling in a sense, you know. So let's talk about college for you. How was that? Like, how was that?
Well,
and what college
actually,
did you go to?
I didn't go to college.
Okay. And
So
why?
I didn't, and I don't know who would agree with me with this, but the musical experience for me at LaGuardia was so great. Well, first off, I had dropped out of high school my last year because my grades were so bad. Okay. I mean, it was a great experience, but I was having too much fun. Let's put it like that. But I dropped out, and when I dropped out, I moved to Massachusetts for like a year to go get my diploma. That's when, you know, we moved over there. And I got my diploma, and I came straight back to New York. But the musical experience that you got at LaGuardia, if I had went to a Juilliard, not saying that they couldn't teach you more.
Yeah.
The exposure would have been bigger at Juilliard or another music school, but what they taught you there was just so real.
Yeah.
Like the orchestra that plays at LaGuardia. I don't know how they are now, but back then, when you listened to it was amazing. We had a recording studio in the basement of the school.
Yeah.
So they packed so much information and so much education into you that when you left there, could you go to college? Yeah. But if you didn't have to. You left there feeling so like ready to take on the world.
Well, that's good though, because you want to have that experience to know kind of what you want to know or what you need to know so you can get out there. So you can be like, okay, I know all this about music, so I know if I do this, this, and that, I can achieve this.
Yeah.
This and that. So how was that though? Being that you didn't go to college, what did you start doing right out of after you got your diploma?
After I got my diploma, I came back to New York and I started working.
Okay.
You know, I just looked for a job because I knew I had to,
survive.
Yeah, I had no place to go.
Yeah.
I was living with my aunt for a little bit, but I didn't want to stay there forever. So I stayed with my brother for a little bit, but he had just gotten married. He was like, bro, you got to go. Because, they married.
Yeah.
So I just started working, and then I was working for a bank at the time, and it was a decent job. I was there for like 2 years.
Okay.
And then I got a roommate, and then we lived out here in Queens. And then when I had the roommate around that time, maybe around the time I was like 18, after I got saved when I was 17, we started a music group, a singing group. Some people from my church and my previous church, and that really worked out pretty cool. So that was nice.
Yeah.
And then things really started to take off from there because then we started going to the studios and recording. We started going different places and singing different places. My name started getting known a little bit. Yeah. So it opened up the door for me to say, wow, I actually can do this.
Yeah.
So that was the start. So when I came back from Massachusetts, got my diploma, it was work in music.
Yeah.
That's been a marriage for like years.
Okay, and I like that you say that because a lot of people feel like when it comes to their profession as in music, that they can do it sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And it's not, but they want to do it sometimes, but they want so much. Or they feel like they can produce a couple songs throughout a month or throughout the year or whatever. Maybe 10 songs in a year. And it's like, I don't feel like that's enough. That's my opinion. And the only reason why I say that is because I feel like when you're, sorry about that, got a quick call, but we're back. When you're into music or any profession, you got to do it all the time. And you shouldn't hold anything back. I've heard a lot of people say, yeah, I'm going to hold this music because I want to put it out at this time. It's like, if you got hits, put them hits out. Keep putting them out. You shouldn't stop because you think this one song is big. How do you feel about that, though?
Yeah. How I feel about that, I mean, the music industry has changed tremendously. One thing I did when I was around like 18 or 19, I had the opportunity to work under this guy named Wall. He had a studio out here in Queens. And he opened up a lot of doors for us. My brother at the time, he was doing beats.
Okay.
Ben was doing beats. And long story short, he brought us into Daddy's house, which is Puffy's studio in the city. Yeah. He opened us to try to get to do remixes like for G Dep at the time, for Big Pun, for was it Fat Joe, I believe, Jennifer Lopez. Okay. We were competing against people like Trackmasters.
Oh, okay.
And that's even though, I mean, and that was for me, the thing is that we never got the placements. But for me, the fact that we were honored enough to go up against them.
Right?
Like, that's huge. And the only edge that we had over Trackmasters, and they're still dope, is that we were a group of people that could play the instruments. So they were doing samples. Okay. But we were playing the piano, playing the bass, playing the drums. Like, the first time we ever went to Daddy's house, the day before, they said, hey, your session's at this time. You guys got to be on time. Here's how many hours you have to work on the song. And Joe Harv Hooker at the time, he called us up and said, look, what do you need? Yeah. And I'm like, what do we need? We get to actually answer that. Yeah. So I ordered whatever I wanted. I ordered a 5-string bass guitar, a Triton, which is the big keyboard at the time, Pro Tools HD, a 48-track board. You know, we ordered as much stuff as we could. And when we got there, he was like, all right, I wasn't able to get everything for it. I'm like, oh, he was like, yeah, I got you a 4-string instead of a 5-string bass. And I'm looking like, but everything else is here. Yeah. You know, so it was a major opportunity.
No, that sounds cool though. Definitely does. Because you got to compete with some of the best.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
at the time, Trackmasters was the best.
Okay. Then you got to compete with the best. And that's really like, That's got to be a great feeling because
Oh,
it definitely kind of motivates you sometimes. I guess it can motivate you when you kind of get in your slumps. Let's let's talk about that. What is something for you that was like difficult to deal with, and you kind of got past it, or maybe you didn't get past it?
Pertaining to music or just life?
Well, you can say music, one for music, and then you can say with life.
Um, I think the biggest thing that I still deal with now that's difficult for life is the death of my father.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know the story,
Yeah.
of course, but my real father was never there.
Mm-hmm.
So when my stepdad came into Dan Brown, you know, it was different. I didn't know what a father was.
Yeah.
And we had our rough times. But as, like, we got older, when I got into my, like, 2021,
Yeah.
I got to know him in a whole nother light because now I'm living on my own. I'm making my own money.
Yeah.
And I'm saying all the stuff he used to say. Like, you know, he said, when you get older, you're going to say this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't know what you're talking about. But, you know, when he passed away, that honestly, even to this day, is one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
Because I still feel like, you know, my biggest thing is that when he passed away, he was alone.
Yeah.
You know, he was, you know, in another state. Nobody could get to him. You know, that still bothers me to this day.
Yeah.
And
that was tough. It was tough for me because I was at school and I know it was around my birthday. I want to say it was on my birthday, February 2nd, and it was even more tough for me because we was still, me and him was really close, and we was still planning on him to come out because he wanted to go to the boxing thing. So, and I never went because I was like, you know what, I was waiting for him, and that hurt. Like, you know, even like till today, like, and it's not nothing to say because we got the cameras and stuff, but it was like I always mention that because it was around the time that I already lost 3 of my friends. Then I lost him, and I was like, damn, like, you know what I mean? Like, these are close people, and it's like, who else am I going to lose? You know what I mean? And it was tough. It was really, really tough because that was my father figure image. You know what I mean? And
he was, the funny thing was that he was like that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen him go in places, because I was always a social person, but I learned how to be sociable around people and be like in the middle of the mix from him.
Okay.
Because, you know, he can go anywhere. And the whole thing revolved around him. Not in a cocky way, but he was that type of dude, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, that was, and even now to this day, you know, I have 2 kids. And I always say to my wife, because my wife got a chance to meet him, she loved him. Yeah. She was like, yes, somebody from the South. They know how to cook. She was like, I always tell her.
He definitely knew how to cook, man. I used to love when he cooked, though. I'll be honest with you. That's one thing I'll be telling him. And I talk about what Mr. B, if you remember Mr. B still, his friend, like I still talk to him, you know, that's like my uncle, and I talk to him about it, you know, because I always miss him, you know what I mean? I always think when I joke around with people and I always talk about like back in the 70s and I joke around just how like being pimps, because I always felt like Uncle Dan was like a pimp. Like even though he wasn't a pimp, that's just how I felt because he was so smooth. Like everything he would say, it would just be like, yo, that was ill. Like say it again. Like, you know, like you just be like, and it was always fun. And, you know, it was just like, it was really one of those, I can say he was, I want to say top 3, but I want to say top 2 people in my life that really affected my life in the sense of a man that put me on a certain path. Yeah. And I always, you know, when I think about him and I think about his sisters and us growing up, like that was fun to me. Yeah. When I go past Main Street over there by the hospital, I always think about the house.
The house,
I always think about the house. It's like it's just different, like, you know, not having them, but it's still like it's also a good motivation.
Yeah.
You know. So that is different. I know that'd be a difficult one. Yeah. And I just So I want to talk more about you though, because I know I could keep going on. I don't want to keep going. Yeah, I don't want to keep going on. Let's talk about something difficult for you in music.
One of the difficult things in music for me would be having enough time. And also having enough time and then understanding the industry now. Because the industry back then, when I was, you know, going to Daddy's house and stuff like that, record labels were king. And that's how you got paid. Yeah. Artists were making more money back then. The way it works now, artists are not making as much money. I mean, you look at Jay-Z, where he had to put out his own streaming service, Tidal. Yeah. Because he knows you're not making money like you used to. It's different.
Nah, you got to find other ways now.
You got to find other ways. So that's a hard. I'm still learning how to navigate the music industry now, and especially in the gospel music industry. It's the same, but it's different. we're what they call a niche market. You know, it's like it's so specific.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily help everybody, but uh, the regular music or you know, secular music, it can really, anybody can listen to that.
Yeah.
You know, anybody can turn on Beyonce and listen to it.
Yeah.
But
don't say Beyonce to the females. They love Beyonce.
I know, right?
Like, you can't say she did anything wrong.
Yeah. So I mean, it's so it is. That's one of the difficult things. But the time is very difficult for me because I work a 9 to 5. I also do a lot of stuff at the church, and then I do come home. You know, I'm a husband and I'm a father. So sometimes coming down here, sometimes I can only get about an hour or two in here.
Yeah.
And like you said, sometimes it's just not acceptable for me. It's like I got so many ideas, and I write all the time.
Yeah.
So if I'm always writing a song, always working with an artist, something like that, I don't have enough time. So, but it's one of the things that I'm doing to overcome that is I'm working on a 2 to 5 year plan where I plan to leave my job and do my music full time. So I have things that I'm trying to put in place so that financially I could lay back like it's nothing and just work on my music. So, but it's difficult.
No, that's difficult. Do you see yourself, and I'm asking you this because as we do these videos, I also want you to be able to like promote yourself, right? So what is, matter of fact, let's just do that. What is some of your social media that they can reach out to?
You can find me on Instagram, either by Joshua Arnoux, or you can look at the studio's webpage, the studio page, which is Woodshed NYC. Facebook is just me, my name Joshua Arnoux.
Okay. You want to spell it for them?
Yeah. So Joshua, Joshua, and Arnoux, which my last name is unique. It's Arnoux. Okay. And Woodshed is spelled Wudshd. So it's not the word wood.
Yeah.
It's like a play on words. So Wudshd NYC.
Talk about the woodshed stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was telling you earlier.
Yeah.
So I have a thing for, you know, natural stuff. So like wood, those colors and everything. And so the Woodshed name, a lot of people ask me, why'd you pick the name for the studio? When I think about a woodshed, WOOD, you put your lawnmower in there, your tools, and you use that to get jobs done around the house. So I felt like the woodshed for me was a way that I can get things done. So when you come in here, all the tools that you need to get your music done, from really great microphones, some really good sounds, you know, good keyboards, equipment, all that stuff is here, you know, for what you need to do.
No, that's definitely ill. I like that. Sorry about that. So, like I was saying, okay, so you have all these. I forgot what I was saying because I was just thinking about the music and everything. Okay. Oh, let me tell you guys, this is Rain Check because I forgot to. You got to stay tuned. We always have like different people, and we're doing this because we want to show more positive images of people that's working, a lot more positive black images, a lot more people in general. This is Tia. What she saying? Yeah, is that Josh? And she's saying hi, cuz. I miss y'all.
Hey, T.
So we do. Well, I do this because I want to get out more positive image and help people as much as possible. I think what he's doing is great. This is what I want to ask you. Are you doing are you up to doing all type of music? Like even if it comes to, say somebody was like a rapper, are you into doing that too?
Right now where I am, that I have to be honest, that's kind of not necessarily a struggle, but it's kind of like a balance for me, because my studio's in my home, and I don't play with that. So I've been in the scene where you go into studios and a rapper comes in, and all they doing is lighting up, drinking, girls. You're not coming in my house and doing that. You know?
I definitely understand.
So, I have had rappers and people that want to come in and do stuff. I screen them. So I do something called an interview. So before I book somebody for studio time, if I'm going to be working with them, even if it's just as an engineer or a producer, I interview them. So I have them come in, and we have a conversation, and I get to pick their brains and find out what they're about. They get to ask me questions. And from there, I'll say, hey, we can work together. Or from there, I say, you know what? I see where you're going. I think you're going to be great, but I don't think I'm the right studio for you. Thankfully, I have other studios I can refer.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's not about the money right now for me. It's about just putting out quality music that I love to do.
Okay. real quick, this is what we're gonna do. I want you to talk about the music that you already produced, and then you can play some, and we'll listen to some. And as we're listening, I'm gonna show like all around the studio so they can see the different things you have.
Okay.
So you can kind of talk about it real quick. Some music you're producing or have produced recently.
Okay. Well, some artists that I've been working with as of very recent. One is a girl named Anissa Fowler. She just released her album earlier this year, a couple of months back.
Okay.
I didn't produce the entire record. I really only produced about 1 or 2 songs on there.
Okay.
But what she did with me, that she did her lead vocals over here.
Okay.
So her stuff is really good. She's been on radio doing music on 1190 WLIB.
Liz Black.
So I work with her. I'm working with another girl named Jacinda Townsley.
Okay.
Another guy named Joe Lester.
So how do you like? Because I know. Okay, what do you call yourself in the sense of what you're doing? Because I don't want to say a music engineer. Some people call themselves different.
No.
So
I'm not a true engineer. I know how to work my equipment and make it do what it's supposed to do.
Okay.
So I'm not recording somebody incorrectly. I'm doing it right. But I'm more of a producer.
Okay.
So that's really what this space is for. So when someone comes here, they're not necessarily just coming, I just need to put these vocals down, man.
Yeah.
No, it's really like, hey, man, how can we create this song and get it to be exactly what I'm hearing in my head? So I'm the guy who's painting.
Okay. So that's good though, because I know you as you're doing what you do as a producer, you always hear music different. You understand? Because especially since you use instruments, you definitely hear it way different to where it's like, okay, it's a good song, but I really don't like this little thing in the background. You know what I'm saying? So, being that it's like that for you, the people that you're working with, do you enjoy their music? Is that something that you have to have too, like as you're producing it? Because I know some producers, like you said, it's not for you. It's not about money, but you might see the potential in them.
Well, I'll say this, that every person I've worked with so far, I have to say that thankfully I've enjoyed their music. There have been some times that I may not always enjoy the choices that are made in the music, whether it's vocally or an instrument that's there. But I think as a producer, you have to be able to find the greatness in everybody's music. So you may have somebody come in and they're not that great of a music maker, but you have to kind of hear what their artistry was and what they were trying to do. And if they allow you to, you can take them higher and bring it up to a whole nother level. Like this guy James Dale. Oh my goodness, he's a young guy, but this guy's smart. This guy is smart. He knows marketing. He knows social media. He just really knows. So long story short, he had a guy come in, a song he wanted to do, and we liked the track. But he looked at me and said, do you think it needs anything else? I'm like, you need to put live drums on there, man. Put live drums on there, get a guitar in there, So he's like, all right, cool. So what did? We booked a session, had the drummer come and, play in a big room. Yeah. And that was history. The song now has live drums on it. Yeah. So, and it sounds better. The song was good already. Yeah. But now putting a live drum feel, it just enhances. So I didn't take the glory from that producer who made that music. I tell people this. I respect music like it's a person. Yeah. So I love music to the point where I want to do it right, period. I don't want to just, you paid me, so let me just give you whatever. No, if you paid me, I want to give you the best that I absolutely can do.
No, that's definitely excellent. But what I want to say right now is, like I always say, you gotta get your own on your own. That's like get yourself right before you can make anything else right in your world. He's gonna play some music. We're gonna listen for a little bit. I'm gonna show you around the studio, and then we are gonna be out. But this is some good music to listen to, and we're gonna check this out. So let me know when you're ready. We go. Go ahead. You can start whenever you're ready.
I need a wrecking ball to this is Anissa Fowler. Play something else. So this is something that I worked on with the artist named Chiron. This dude, he's on a social media place called Vine.
Okay, Vine, yeah.
And let me tell you something. This guy has millions of hits. And some of the stuff that he's doing, I can't talk about it, but it's big. Like, he's going to be something really amazing. So I just want to play something that we worked on, which was a cover.
Okay.
And a lot of you are going to be familiar with this song here.
Listen up. Y'all better listen up. It's a good studio. Good music. Woodshed.
So we did all this live. So this is not taking Justin Bieber's music and then having him sing over it. I had to recreate the entire track.
I gave you the key when the door wasn't open. Just admit it. See, I gave you faith when you're down in the whole bed. Can't deny it. Now I'm alone and my joys turn open. Tell me, where are you now that I need you? Where are you now? Where are you now that I need you, babe? Could I find you anywhere? When you broke down, I didn't leave you, no. I was by your side, oh, where are you now that I need you, babe? Where are you now that I need you?
And then this here is the guy James. I'm gonna play this real quick.
Okay.
So this song I actually wrote and produced.
No more wasting time, 'cause I don't have time for it. Can't blame my neighbor, 'cause he didn't pay for it. The debt is too heavy. No way that I
Those are all live drums and everything on it too.
more than a solution, I need a revolution. Somebody please help me. Going out of my mind. Oh yeah. Trying to tame the rain. Oh, I need a savior to change my behavior. I need you, Jesus, to change my life. To change my
Yes. Good music. Definitely we're gonna put this stuff up on there so you can contact him. This is what he does. He does it for love. But we're out.